Dear viewers, welcome back to round 7 of the My Hero Academia collectible card game Pro Hero Nationals Day 1. I'm Levi, of course, joined by my good friend Sam Tate, and things are about to get crazy in this round 7. We have a very, very aquatic matchup for you guys, don't we, Sam?
Yeah, we've got some wet and wild decks coming up for you guys. This is going to be really interesting because when it comes down to the water symbol, it's usually the best at beating the water symbol. We saw a lot of people adapt in early set 1 to go, okay, well, these are the cards that work best against the water symbol, and they all happen to have the water symbol. So
this is very true. But we've got two very different flavors of the water symbol for you guys today. We have the return of Asui on the stream, making her second appearance here today. Once again on the water symbol, this kind of new, slow, meticulous, sometimes blow you up on turn 2 deck. And then on the other side of things, we have the complete opposite with Water Mineta 2. Mineta 2, a very, very big mainstay of our previous meta, now making his way back in here with a lot of the new water support coming in set 3 Heroes Clash. Obviously, both of them got a lot of new buffs from it in very, very different ways. And name-wise, we have some notable things here, too.
yeah, really important. Mineta 2 was not favored in set 2 because of the prevalence of Momo, and yet it still had results. We talked to Tamron Cardwell after he won a provisional with Momo and said, look, my worst matchup is actually the Mineta that plays only throws because I have only face shields. And this is a deck that can go toe-to-toe defensively with Momo when it comes down to it. So this is a deck that I don't think people understand a lot, and it's a deck that we've seen many different builds for, or at least a character for Mineta 2.
Oh, absolutely. I've seen Mineta 2 on every symbol.
Yeah.
I've seen this guy on every symbol.
Yeah, fun fact, one of the last decks I was testing before I found out I was casting, Evil Mineta 2, no joke.
With the new asset?
Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
You know, I looked at like things like Hero Killer, where it's like, okay, you don't even get to activate, right? You get to specifically snipe things. You still get cards like Evil Gaze, which can be really important even as a 5-hander.
Right.
Evil has like a little bit of momentum generation still. So it's going to be really interesting to see what kind of adaptations the water symbol has for Mineta 2. And I'm really interested to see if it's just like mono throws, all tape swings, or are we going to see Tongue Whip? Are we going to see the card pull clogging ranged package come around?
So I'm actually quite familiar with Kyle Wright's meta deck. I actually did a deck profile of this exact deck pre-set 3 just a couple weeks ago when he topped that exact provisionals, the one that Tamron Cardwell won. Kyle Wright piloted this Mineta 2 deck almost to a T, obviously without the set 3 cards because it was not out yet, but piloted a very, very, very similar version of this list to that top cut. Kyle being one of the most proficient meta players, even through the like you said, the Momo domination of the format. Momo really, really gate kept him hardcore out of things, but Kyle Wright was a man that said, I don't care, I love stuffing the card pool, and I'm going to jam things either way. So this deck is very much it's a good blend. It's got the tape swings in it, it's got the tape tosses in it, it's got the Mineta throw in it, but it's also got things like Tongue Whip to really, really put the hurt on people. It's a very, very good mix.
I'm a huge fan of tape swing in this deck.
Oh, it's so good.
It is immune to Fate Shield. You just leave it mid. They have to change the zone off of mid, and typically on the water symbol defensively, you're using tape to make things mid. So you're prone to holding mid blocks a little more often. You're not going to get to rely on that as Keenan Meadows in this matchup, already having to stuff our card pool, debuild ourselves, and now partial block. Not a good sign for...
Oh, and now the Tongue Whip coming in. Oh, my goodness. He's like, you got another low block, buddy? You got another low block, buddy? Yeah, this is very scary.
So we partialed to save ourselves 3 damage, right? But then actually added 1 to an attack that we probably can't block again because we already used the low block, and now we've got this progressive building up. It's going to be tough to block effectively a 7-speed attack.
Yeah, this is going to be very, very hard here. Also, very important to note here, Kyle Wright is a man without fear. Have you noticed the first foundation we jammed on our board, turn 1 with our character committed, was defrosting. And there are 2 checks in our deck. Kyle Wright is a man without fear. He says if you check a 2 on the first turn of the game, it was meant to be. Well, you were meant to go to the next game. And
we've seen on stream earlier how not respecting your bad checks can go for you.
Absolutely.
So it'll be super interesting to see now. I would say Mineta 2 can maybe bounce back from that a little bit better, just because of the pace that he kind of forces you to play. However, if there's any character that can absolutely just turn on the gas, is it not Asui 1?
Absolutely. I mean, especially with like Keenan Meadows behind the wheel. Let's actually just like, I mean, while this tongue whip is just smacking the life out of Keenan, let's talk about these players for a little bit. We talked about Kyle Wright's most recent accolades, right? With Mineta 2 being the Mineta in that top cut of the provisional Tamarin 1, only losing out to Momo, arguably like the unwinnable matchup for that character, right? The only thing he's like super worried about seeing. But I mean, Kyle Wright being a very, very long time player, participated in the standard tournament on Friday, did very, very, very well. He's a long time standard player. He's also my personal mentor. He's the man who brought me into the game. Without Kyle Wright, there would be no Levi. There would be no Alliteration Gaming. I wouldn't know a thing about playing this game. So I'm definitely in his corner in a lot of ways, but he's a very, very great guy, a very, very respectable player. But I mean, you can't comment on the quality of character of a Universus player without thinking about the name Keenan Meadows. Am I right?
One of my favorite edits I've ever done on my channel involves an interview that Keenan Meadows did over 10 years ago now. It is actually from him.
Goodness.
It is actually from him winning, I believe, his first character card and talking about how there's only great things in the future for the game. So it's gonna be interesting to see like where Keenan's future is with the new My Hero format, because he's done so many things. He's played so many decks over this decade of experience, and yet, what the Keenan Meadows that I know is Keenan Meadows, the 2011 champion.
I see. Yeah. See, I obviously as a newcomer to the game, right? I've had minimal interactions with Keenan, but the interactions I have had with him are all just absolutely phenomenal. He is such a great and genuine guy, and even outside of the previous eras of the game, right? He is not without his accomplishments. If you're familiar with a lot of the most recent Ibarra plays in the top cuts, he's been a big proprietor of that deck as well. Big proprietor of Kamui Woods as well. He's been the main Kamui guy aside from Jose. Really though, Keenan is just a big fan of the water symbol. The water symbol has been Keenan's bread and butter since My Hero started, and so it's really cool to see both of these like titans of the water symbol playing it to their fullest and playing it in such different ways.
Yeah, it's man, we could go on forever about the history, because you want to talk mentors. Keenan Meadows essentially mentored our only female world champion, Ashley Fullerton, who's also here today.
Wow.
Someone who showed up and I believe won either their first or second event. Like they played in maybe one or two events and became a world champion, and they would not be there without Keenan Meadows. So
wow.
This is essentially two mentors, right?
How cool.
In different ways.
Two old heads, two pros, two titans of the water symbol, two mentors, both with their students in the room cheering them on today. What an insanely cool narrative for this game. And
the storylines write themselves, don't they?
They really do. One of the coolest things about this game, honestly, is the history behind it and just the beauty of how cool the interactions are. And as far as the game is concerned, Kyle looking to be in a really good spot right now, all things considered. Just finding tape swing after tape swing, being able to jam that tongue whip and get a huge head start on Asui's 20 health here. And now just finding all of his throws now, finding all of his damage. Keenan just not finding things to mitigate that right now. Not seeing things like wall cling, right? Even things like Faith Shield's not going to stop the tape swing as long as it remains mid.
We're going to need self-assured. If we want to ever face one of these,
yes, actually, wow, I've never even thought about that. That's a very heads-up interaction there. Yeah, self-assured could be really pivotal here and being able to face shield these things. And at the same time, though, Kyle has the recovery time block.
Yeah, let's talk about this. This is something where you don't have to block with it, right? You don't have to use it as a block. You can just take the damage and then gain it back. So
right, yeah,
we take 6 and then gain 4 back.
Ooh, but we sure do still put a card in our card pool.
Oh, did we change that off mid? I'm sorry. Did we change the tape swing off mid to allow a mid block onto it? That is ballsy.
We might have, yeah. I just thought to use the recovery time, but we might have, yeah.
I mean, that was my natural assumption.
That's what I also thought, yeah. That's what I also thought.
Running into a breaker 1 block, not really going to matter too much, though. Mineta has a massive health lead, has a good-sized board, and again, every time we block these tape swings, we're giving damage to these tongue whips.
Absolutely, yeah. And so it looks like the half block on the tongue whip is coming in here. Yeah, going down to 5. Do we have another move? No, but we're going to put his sticky balls on the board and say, you can't play the game next turn, Keenan.
And now Faith Shield is never online, right?
Yeah.
We don't get to, with the likelihood that we ever Faith Shield anything in this matchup.
Impossible now.
It's, yeah, you're going to have so many, and when you would need it and when it would be relevant is probably not ever going to, like, you'll have to bait out Sports Festival, right?
Yeah.
For anyone who doesn't know, Sports Festival Stadium was huge until the Unwavering Slash ban. It was huge at the start of set 2 because it has a response that when your opponent blocks your attack, you get the first response, you get to discard it from the card pool, negating Breaker and pretty much every played ability on a block.
Yeah, Sports Festival Stadium is definitely like you said, fell off after Unwavering ban. We weren't able to just build it in so conveniently, but even now it still finds play in a lot of decks, especially the ones that are really, really weak to Faith Shield. Super sick sticky balls play to put a ranged move in and then commit Asui to kick it back out.
Yeah, we basically just flipped sticky balls to say you got to flip one foundation.
Yeah, I think we might have jumped the gun a little bit. As Kyle there probably should have waited until there was a non-ranged on top of the discard pile to stuff it back in.
Well, and once the second attack happens, you run out of that opportunity,
right?
Because Asui is going to start kicking the ranged attacks from her card pool.
As the first enhance. That's so true. That's so true.
So we didn't get to do it on the first attack, which means we're probably never going to get to do it. So, and all these attacks are almost certainly ranged, so the -4 speed doesn't matter.
So as Kyle, we actually just really wanted Keenan to check well on that first attack.
Yeah.
How funny. How absolutely wild.
Yeah, if you remember back to, I believe it was an Asui mirror, I know it was Travis Tangeman who was discarding
the floating
attacks.
around the babies plays.
He was discarding with preparing to put a ranged in there, then he was floating to put the range back at the top, and playing around sticky balls is tough for a lot of decks. If anyone does it well, it's awesome.
Yo, the tongue smack coming in here, the best friend smack right here. Easily one of my favorite cards in Asui's kit. That card puts in so much work in the new Asui water decks. And man, as much as I said that Keenan was not going to get to play the game this turn, he is going pretty all out right now, trying to put as much damage as he can onto Kyle here. But
yeah, Keenan recognizes
there with so much momentum, though, is the issue, right?
Keenan recognizes that his clock is dwindling, and we actually get a peek at the cheerful uppercut in Kyle's hand, and so he doesn't have to fire it off now, right? Like, it's a very powerful defensive tool, but we're at the health total where letting Asui kind of dig out into her foundations, commit some stuff down, that could let a sneaky low attack get in there. And it's important to note too, Sports Festival Stadium's static ability, it's continuous. After you take damage from an attack, lose 1 additional life. That is huge on partial blocks.
Yeah, it's really huge, and of course it's for both players. Sports Festival Stadium as a terrain affects both players with global game-wide abilities. So Keenan essentially getting that bonus damage on all of his moves might be encouraging him to go out here. I feel like as Kyle here, you really want Keenan to play one more move to cheerful uppercut block.
Yes,
because if we get like one more move in, then we can really start punishing.
I don't even know if I would block with an attack until I'm like below 20 health.
Yeah,
because we're still not threatening this life total.
This is true.
You have to, with the +1 progressive difficulty, the face down in the pool and only 3 ready foundations, and even with the stacking damage, Asui's gonna have to play at least 2 more attacks.
No, Kyle is still in a really safe position. As much as Keenan is like getting to play these attacks for free, getting to replenish his resources, his draw. Kyle's just super down to spend all of his momentum just drawing a boat ton of cards, man. And
drawing the correct block zone has been massive. We've seen it with Kirishima's all day. Now we're seeing it with Mineta. Spend that momentum, bring it back down to 0 speed, basically making it effectively a free block as long as we don't check terrible.
For sure. We have the +3 wall cling that we drew, so we just have to check a 4 at least on this. And we hard check the 5. Yeah, Kyle just untouchable right now through all this Mineta defense.
And now, if Keenan Meadows...
My goodness. So many tongue smacks.
They draw themselves, right?
They do draw themselves. It's true. It's the nature of the smack, man. It's the nature of the smack. And at this point, Kyle's pretty much out of defensive power. But we've got 25 health left to chew through as Keenan. We are still using prone to dry eyes, so might constitute that we have it as long as we continue to check well. But I mean,
these attacks are getting big.
They are getting big, and the Sports Festival Stadium is popping off.
Yeah, that was dealing, I believe, 10 damage total, right, with the extra 1 life loss. So 2 more moves are passable for Keenan, but does he have the gas?
Does he have the moves? Yeah, does he have the moves is what it's really all about here. I mean, at this point, we're on +3 to everything with the prone to dry eyes usages, right?
A tongue whip here would be massive.
Tongue whip here would be insane. We do not have it, though. I mean, at this point, we are just begging Kyle not to draw a throw now, right?
Yeah, one thing that I think is really, really nice is we did make him spend that momentum. So uppercut is not lethal on a partial block anymore. Uppercut does not become 8 damage, which makes us lose the 5th health on a half block. But 2 attacks probably still is if we don't completely block them.
Do we think we jam the uppercut here as Kyle just to get the D build out of Keenan? Or do we hold it for its powerful on-blockability?
You know, I'm very down to get the D build in and potentially get any more damage.
With how small Keenan's stage is, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if he didn't hold a low, right? He's gonna take 3.
The only bad thing about sending exactly 1 attack is it would allow Keenan to draw cards if he knows he can block it. Because he is in a position to exhausted exclamation a couple times, which while he might not need them now, he's going to go through his deck faster. He's going to get an additional review.
This is very true.
If we only have the 1 attack, I don't think we pop it off.
Yeah, that's very true. That's a solid point there. I was gonna say we also would get the Sports Festival Stadium his block to draw an extra card as Kyle, which I do like, but maybe giving Keenan access to sculpt that hand even more might not be the way, because without dealing damage this turn, we are only getting to block with whatever cards we keep in hand as Mineta here,
and without
as our 5 hand size character.
Without an attack that guarantees momentum, it's just a little too risky because
very risky.
Clogging that card pool is one of the best ways to slow Asui down.
Right, yeah. I mean, between things like is that what triple defrosting on Kyle's board right now? There's at least 2.
Yeah, there's definitely some multiples going down. It's hard to tell, but they can't be sticky balls because that one's unique.
Yeah,
I haven't seen rescue completed, so it's got to be defrosted.
It's got to be, yeah. And then we've got a creepy on board. We've got a struggling with studies. So like we have like potentially an extra block there as well. We still have a lot of defensive power. We've got ice glidings. The defrostings all represent speed reduction as well. If that's the angle we have to go, we have a lot of defensive power here. Keenan is going to need to find so many moves through that 1 card stuffed in his card pool as well that it's going to be tough to find 15 here.
Between the Mineta enhance and a cheerful uppercut block, we have like minimum -3 damage on creepy, potentially 4 if they don't Asui as the first enhance.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, 6 foundations is not a lot. We talk about Asui's ability to overcome adversity and card pool clearing. This is we don't have sticky balls, so it's not technically. I was gonna say it's technically good because we get to kick it off sticky balls, but not really.
No, that is rough. That is rough. Right now, for Keenan to find lethality this turn, we needed to draw every attack remaining in our deck and then check only foundations, basically.
Yeah, well, so Mineta doesn't have access to extra draw power. There is a world where prone to dry eyes ramps up really, really hard, and some bad block zones plus Sports Festival get us there. But between creepy and the defrosting, that's like -7, 8 damage.
Yeah, we are definitely about to self-assured to make it a mid so we can uppercut perfect block it.
Yes.
And then I don't know how Keenan can even continue his turn.
With lots of courage.
Yeah, with 3 in pool.
I was gonna say something I don't know if I can say on stream, but it would take a lot of cojones.
Yeah, it would take a lot of guts and a lot of luck.
Yeah. You would have to have the biggest courage of all time. I'll put it that way.
He's just not in a great position, Keenan here. It's really hard to see how he's going to be able to continue through this turn in any respectable way. It's unfortunate because it seems like he has a lot of it. He probably has the attacks, all things considered.
Right, we got the extra draw of Heat Wave. We have potential to draw more with Exhaust if we really needed to.
We have so many cards in hand as ammunition for dry eyes. We have so much ammunition, but Mineta is just really going to turn off our entire turn here.
And we're choosing to just blanket give this speed, so I don't hate that play. It tells me that Keenan recognizes the position he's in. He got gifted a turn. Let's be real. He got blessed with an additional turn because if Mineta draws 2 attacks, he's pretty much dead.
Yeah, the 5 hand size syndrome caught up to Kyle on that turn, very fortunately for Keenan, but is it going to be enough? Those are always the saddest games, right? When you get miracle gifted the survival of that kill turn, then you come back and then you just can't do anything,
and you have to gift it right back.
Yeah, and then you lose on the next one. It's always just so sad, man.
Yep, and this is actually going to cause
there's the uppercut block coming in.
This is actually going to cause Keenan to cycle, so any additional heat waves are not going to draw 2 cards for a while as well.
Very true.
So
this is very true.
Probably not something you were going to jam on innate anyway.
No, I don't think we were jamming a heat wave there. I don't what can we jam here?
Sometimes that is the play you have to make, though.
For sure. Sometimes those are the lines that you have to take. Right now, though, Keenan's just going to have to make a very desperate build here and then just pray that Kyle doesn't draw attacks again.
Yeah, this is the kind of thing where back in set 1, early set 2, we could have been like, hey, maybe a frog lashing gets in there, right? Like maybe we get to raise some stuff and eke out another attack and it's really big. But, even though Kyle committed a ton of resources, still sitting on creepy, still sitting on it's hard to see his stage. He just covered up the cards.
He's got the struggling with studies.
Yeah,
does he have another one? He's got one committed for sure. No, he's just chilling with his triple defrostings and his creepy, representing -7 damage on the move collectively if he really wants to,
or -6 speed, right? Like we can just mill ourselves out to make this super
we're just gonna have to make a desperate build here.
That's the one. Wall
Forge, fortunately checking 5s on those first 2. We can commit our 2 face downs for this if we really want to, but I don't know if it's worth it. But being able to banking the checks on the wall cling and the ice slide is very big. It says we actually can survive a half decent turn, maybe not a really good one, but a half decent one.
Wall cling is the one I was waiting to talk about because I didn't know if he was mainboarding it. A lot of people put wall cling in the side, especially if you're maining Faith's Shield, especially if you want to be more aggressive.
Yeah.
That forward check slows you down. It's not proactive. It's very weird to kind of use, and you use it specifically for throws and tape swing when you can. Glad to see him mainboarding it. We had to go through our whole deck to get it, though.
We did, yeah. And once again, Kyle's not finding attacks. Kyle found 1 attack this turn, but you know what it is, Sam Tate? It is another cheerful uppercut, man.
Yeah.
And now he's got another struggling with studies on board.
Which,
the defensive power.
Keenan can't fully block that uppercut, it's still... if he had the momentum, it would still kill. Without any momentum left, we're losing options. We're not getting momentum because we're not attacking. We're not attacking because we don't have momentum to force lethal.
Right. But at the same time, though, like we're not dying. Right, like as Kyle, we're not taking hot yet. This is very true. Yeah, we're not dying.
Keenan is drawing gas.
Keenan is drawing gas, but Keenan's about to have to try and embark on this lethality turn with 2 cards in his card pool. Once again, like that's just as Asui, that's so punishing. We are supposed to play every move with +1 at max, right? Now we're +3 on every move. That that really just like it's such a hard counter to the whole style of this deck that just wants to play 8,000 moves. The prone to dry eye seal coming in very big here.
Let's talk a little play-by-play just for a minute, because we talked a lot about the things surrounding this game. Crow and Frog. Crow and Frog actually pretty big here.
Yeah.
It gets to ignore progressive, so that card pull clock doesn't slow us down as bad as it would before. We get to ready something, so like the extra draw off of exhausted exclamation. This is the kind of card that was making life Asui work in general.
Yep.
And when you're going to claw your way back into this game, you're going to need the volume that Crow and Frog gives you.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. If we can roll Crow and Frogs here, it might not be too bad. It looks like we're not going for the self-assured uppercut block just yet. We're gonna let Keenan go in a little deeper before we throw that Hail Mary at him. Also, maybe we just want to try and save that uppercut as an attack as Kyle, so we can actually start trying to sculpt an aggressive turn here. The ice wall coming in here is gonna be pretty massive. We talked a lot about this in the first round. How do you fight water, man? You gotta stun him out.
Yeah.
You gotta stun him out.
Now, at this point, I don't think the foundation count is super relevant. However, without that, set to 0 completely and there's a self-assured to make it a mid.
Yep.
So you have to assume the uppercut's coming out.
Oh yeah, we're in the danger zone now as Kyle. Things are actually getting scary here. We need to put a card in Keenan's card pool. A freaking sap.
Yep, and really at this point, Keenan has the opportunity, even though the prone to dry eyes got sealed out, so he can't ramp up.
Right.
With the bonus damage from Sports Festival, it's only going to take 2 moves that can get up to like 7 damage. That's a tall order for Asui, but not impossible.
No, not impossible. It's really going to come down to the checks. If we can just hard check 5s throughout this turn to mitigate these cards stuck in our card pool, the stun is just going to be so big here. So it looks like Kyle noticing the stun getting so out of hand. We're opting to go all in our defrostings on this attack so that we can stun them afterwards. Makes a whole lot of sense. And so I think the biggest thing here is if we can constitute more blocks, if we have foundations to commit to block, after this move, we're going to be able to uppercut. And I'm sorry, we're going to be able to Struggling with Studies and pick our uppercut back up and potentially uppercut block again, or pick our high block back up if they throw another high attack that's presenting a lot of damage on the half block that we don't want to take.
Yeah, I did forget about the creepy though. So like actually with the cheerful uppercut stuffing the card pool, we need to actually throw 3 moves minimum, I think. And now to be fair, looking at the foundation count, if Keenan can play 7 difficulty or less, meaning like a 4 difficulty attack with the 3 in the pool and keep clearing the 1,
the 2 check.
He can afford and a 2, okay. So Keenan can afford to play 3 more attacks if he rolls 5s and never plays anything higher than 7 total difficulty.
That's correct.
It is mathematically possible. Is it likely? Is it the risk that you take? Is it the plays? Well, that's going to kill a lot of momentum.
4, 5, 6, 7.
I don't think it's possible to play 3 more attacks anymore.
No,
unless
I don't know if it is either.
Asui a bunch, and he doesn't have a hand. You don't need the speed, but you need the card pool.
Well, you do want the speed. He can pick up a block.
Oh, struggling, right? He's got so many options. This
so
Mineta
many
has
options.
So many, I'm trying. I might be a little biased.
This deck is sick.
I might be a little biased.
Kyle's deck is so sick.
I'm trying to find Keenan's route through here. I want him to claw back in because what a story it would be. But Kyle really does just have like all the access, and letting him pick up an attack might actually be what kills us.
Yep.
Not even the fact that he'll block this, the fact that he might attack us next turn.
Correct.
Because I don't think this kills, and after checking the 3, it might have been something you just failed so he can't pick it back up.
Yeah, like this move can get in there, right? But if this tongue whip lands, and even if we play one more move and we bank the 5 check, we can't play a 3rd unless we have like 3 4s. We check all 5s.
Yeah, we certainly would have to roll only 5s.
Yeah.
And you're right, we now do need the speed again. So really, really tough situations, but there's 1 5. There's one of them.
Yeah, we can kick the tongue whip out here. You can flip and ready Asui.
So if this deals 6 somehow, he'll be down to 9 because of the extra 1 life loss.
Right.
But that's still out of range of almost every attack that is not Frigid Heat Wave.
Yeah, that's correct. The prone to dry ice seal was really big. The prone to dry ice seal was really big.
That is the reason to play water, right? That is the main reason that Asuis are playing water.
And there's the Ice Storm on the 7.
He has momentum.
Check the 5, 6, 7, and this Ice Storm does kill. Yep.
He got there. After all that, through the struggling, through the creepy. It's the 2 check that did it. I was completely wrong.
It was the 2 check that did it.
It became a resource game.
Yeah. Man, the 2 check was ultimate. Yep, man, what an insanely cool game 1. Kyle Wright showing so many crazy defensive lines. If there's anything to be said about Kyle Wright as a player, is he is not an easy one to find lethal on. Kyle will do everything in his power to cockroach his way through a game. But Keenan Meadows was just not having it. Meadows was able to find those lines, exactly what I said, right? He's got to find 3, 4 diffs and only check 5s, ? And that's exactly what Keenan did. Yep. And it was just all the right ones too. The Ice Storm powerful was what got it there too. Absolutely crazy. The seal on the dry eyes almost coming in clutch to stop just enough damage, but the storm was icy.
You know what the tail of the tape was?
What's that?
Tenacity. 100% top to bottom. Kyle has a tenacious deck to start with. But Keenan Meadows hung with it. He did not give up. He did not tilt. You didn't see any card flicking, any of the tossing cards in the discard pile. He recognized the plays that you have to make, and he went for it, and he was rewarded. Now, granted, it did take some bad luck, right? But that is card games. That is the variance involved. And as a 5-hand size, as a Mineta 2 deck, this could be still a typical experience, right?
Absolutely.
You're going to expect to check a 2 at least once.
Absolutely.
You're going to expect not to draw cards. And so when it came down to it, it was so important that he checked the 2 on the uppercut, because that's when he has to pass. That's when he has to pick
has
up.
to do it.
If we check a 2 on the high block, we fail that, right? We don't commit our board completely.
Never.
So
yeah, it was crazy. Keenan understood the assignment.
Yes.
Keenan understood the assignment and went for it. And sometimes life pats you on the back for taking that kind of a gamble, right? It's a risky gamble, but sometimes, as you love to tell our dear viewers, Sam, those are the lines you have to take.
It doesn't look good, right? We're squeamish. Our guts are wrenching.
I was scared.
Yet,
I was terrified. I was
yeah.
petrified.
And yet we got there. We're going to jump back into the action. We got our stream issue solved here. So you saw our pretty faces for just a moment, but you're now getting the saucy sideboard action.
Oh, yeah. The saucy sideboard action is coming in hot.
Now, as Kyle, do you change anything about your game plan? Obviously, you want to say, well, I just draw more attacks, but is there anything you could modify? Anything you saw that might have been a blatant mistake, I guess you could say?
Perhaps block with a little more respect of the potential craziness of Keenan's aggro output. Even then, I'm not sure there were many blocks I wouldn't
he was completely
have made
blocking, right? Like he had the self-assured, he had the special
it
block.
was all, they were all very exemplary, nice, perfect blocks. It's hard to say that even if he would have taken some of the earlier attacks, if he would have been able to block some of the later ones, they were all kind of the same damage numbers for the most part, really. Honestly, like character-wise, no. Like, I mean, stuffing one into the card pool is still just the strongest thing you can do against a deck that wants to play 10 attacks that are all for minimal amounts of damage over the course of a turn.
And while you have Creepy out, it synergizes with your whole game plan.
Yeah, it's perfect.
I think, I love the self-assured play on changing the zone to get that mid block. One of my favorite foundations, honestly. Reusable, not a flip, not a remove cost zone change. So and it changes both characters, right? A lot of the zone changes only change your rival's attack, like Travel by Tape, or Sero can only change his own, Think Fast can only change your own. Having that level of versatility, it makes it one of my favorite cards.
Oh, it's amazing. I love it. It's almost like a wall cling that you get to use every single turn.
Yeah. I will say I think the pivot is after the second time where you only have Cheerful Uppercut, you cash in that self-assured. It's so good, and it seems like the right play to keep it, and he did such a good job surviving because of it. But if we play that uppercut A, they might not have the low. It's not a great percentage play, but maybe A, you catch them with only high blocks, which is so unlikely, I get that.
Right.
But B, you can cash in your self-assured to draw more cards, which even if we don't draw more attacks, maybe we see the defensive pieces that we actually needed.
Right. We also talked about how we were proposing that Kyle was going to go for the self-assured uppercut block on the first attack of the turn for maximum value, and he didn't.
Right.
Kind of disrespected Keenan's aggro a little bit, said, no, I'm actually going to try and hang on to this uppercut block.
We had the right zone, right? We had the high block for the high attack. That's a play you normally make, but it might not be the play you have to make.
Yeah, because, I mean, if we uppercut on the first one, and we make the second card pull stuff right then and there, that's like, 2 extra committals out of Keenan, which... What did his kill turn come down to? Having exactly enough foundations to commit no more, no less, right? And that was just kind of down to Kyle not expecting Keenan to be able to put out the lethality on that turn. So maybe we just need to show a little more respect to the. I mean, disrespecting Asui's aggro is just something that you can never do if you really want to expect to beat her.
Maybe hold one more block, right? So we're not pressed for specifically keeping these and specifically the struggling. We do see a tape toss come out, which we didn't see game 1, but you can assume that this is a throw heavy build. We also have the tongue whips though.
Unfortunately, running into the faith shield. Very sadly for Kyle there.
That's one down.
It's true. It's one down.
There can only be 3 more, and I guarantee Kyle has more than 3 more throws in his deck.
Absolutely. Kyle is maxing tape toss, tape swing,
Great Brush. We
And
finally
Great
saw
Brush,
in his
yes.
hand Great Brush. That's this signature attack we never got to talk about. That card is honestly carrying Mineta to a lot of the time.
Oh, absolutely.
It becomes the throw. It has stun on it, which
It
is
replaces
like
itself.
ridiculous.
Right? It draws a card.
Yep.
And then it goes to momentum because it's a throw, and then you go draw another card off of it. It's so good. It's so strong. It does everything you would want an attack in your Mineta 2 deck to do.
It forces your opponent to make really bad plays sometimes, like
absolutely.
increasing the speed of your own attack. And one of my favorite things is you can reduce the speed, give it throw, and then return it to printed, speed it back up a lot of the time as well. So it can be tough to Faith Shield Great Brush when most throws are like 2 or 3 speed, and it can go back up a lot easier on the water symbol than other throw symbols.
I know a thing that Kyle really likes to do as well is if the opponent commits any kind of speed pump into it, he'll actually just start speed pumping it itself as well and just say, here's my really fast mid attack, man, deal with it.
One of the worst feelings in the world is when Eraserhead gives 2 speed back to it. It goes down to 3, back up to 5, and you're like, okay, I'll just keep pumping it up. Like, that is...
you're like, actually, I'm down, man.
Yeah.
Block this on a 6, bro.
Hey, you chose the hard way. We'll do it the hard way.
We'll do it the hard way, buddy. Yeah, so we see the Great Brush coming in.
I guess that's the Kirishima way.
Yeah. Hey, man. When you're hardened, bro. Yeah. So we got the surviving the finals on board, so we can minus our Great Brush's speed here, so that we can actually get it to have its extra damage and its throw keyword.
And we're gonna see if Keenan managed to draw another Faith Shield. It's not terrible odds as a 7-hander, but you do gotta have it.
For sure, the Faith Shields are gonna be the almighty equalizer this game, really.
Yeah, and honestly, post board, I'm assuming my opponent has 4.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I know not everyone does. Post board, I'm assuming they do. So Kyle, having such a commanding presence, playing so well that game 1 early and just kind of not getting the cards he needed, has to feel really bad that now my opponent can side up to 4 of the answer. And again, you have to assume that they're going to have it in game 2 and 3.
Absolutely. And so now we're seeing Kyle's other attack of choice alongside the tongue whips as his non-throws is the invisible infiltrations. One of Kyle's favorite moves here, just getting to reset your foundations. Obviously, the big play here is our deck has sticky balls in it. Being able to flip, stuff your pool, remove sticky balls, bring it back, play another move, stuff your pool again. Really, really strong on those kill turns, making your attacks just so fast, essentially, with how stuffed their pool is. And your tongue whips, just the most lethal things in the world.
It's pretty hard to have a card that readies a foundation be bad. Invisible Infiltration has the opportunity to unflip and ready a card. So it's one of the strongest enhances by itself. And the water symbol loves low attacks.
Oh, it loves it. They absolutely love it because they have so many good low attacks, and a couple of their low attacks, such as Ice Storm and Tongue Whip, present massive amounts of damage, meaning it's very dangerous to block their smaller low attacks in fear of being demolished by one of their much bigger low attacks. So you can get a lot of free pokes out either way. So we're going to play another infiltration. The irrefutable that got removed is going to come back. We're going to commit 1 on this check for a 6 here, and then we're just going to use the infiltration to remove that one and bring it back in. Yep. I've seen a lot of people using the term blink for removing the foundation and bringing it back in, which I do really like. I think it's a very, very cute term.
Yeah, blink is an old card game term. It's been around for a minute, and it basically just means card leaves play, comes back into play, and when it comes back in, it's going to have pretty much its natural stat or status.
Yeah, it's going to be in its reset status essentially. So we're getting a lot of tongue whips out of the equation here. That's got to feel really, really good, especially when the block fails and then they're getting extra damage. Oh, that tongue whip.
This is the angriest Mineta turn.
Oh my God, the 2 check here. We have to commit all 5 of our cards. Do you pass it?
Yeah.
And do you just I mean, I don't know, man. Keenan could do 26. If we commit our character, Keenan can do 26. I think we'd just be happy that we
we'd have to commit the character. Never mind.
Yes.
I thought we had exactly enough.
It was on a 7, and we checked our 2.
Okay, yeah, I'm capping. You don't commit Mineta.
Yeah, no, you don't.
Yeah.
No. Keenan on Asui with double prone to dry eyes.
Yeah, no.
You find 26.
I genuinely thought we were committing everything but the character.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I go for that. Never in a million years do I commit Mineta
Definitely
against
not.
double prone to dry eyes.
So Kyle in a pretty nice position. At this point, he really just wants to keep finding his throws so he can continue to just tempo out the game. We might just see a build turn from Kyle here. Yep, not finding any of our throws to progress our game state.
And that's the frustration I was talking about, I think, right? You saw a little bit of the snap to those checks where it's rough that we had all the gas last turn and our rival had all the blocks.
Yeah.
And then it ended on a bad check, which is our favorite attack, probably. I assume it's his favorites. It would be mine in the deck because Tape Swing, just having that built-in answer to the Fate Shield.
Absolutely.
I feel like that's what it's going to come down to.
Yeah, it super will. That's our, the throws are our game plan. That's our throw that Keenan can't interact with for the most part. Scoping out the discard pile here.
Yes.
Keenan's thinking about deadlocks.
Well, and scoping out the discard pile, Keenan also has Sports Festival Stadium.
Oh, that's also true.
A lot of people too scared to run Sports Festival without the ability to tutor it in, right? If we play it, we have to give our rival a chance to attack us with that continuous ability in play. Keenan might have the ability to rob Mineta of a Sports Festival or vice versa. They could be getting into an asset war if the game goes longer, but it's might end pretty soon if we don't have Fate Shield.
Very, 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 very true. So we see Kyle finding the throw here. This is also probably, we see Keenan build to exactly 10. This is the deadlock that Keenan is afraid of right here, right? Being able to bottom deck any two of your opponent's foundations is way, way too strong to allow them to do. So the tape swing the tape toss is coming in. We immediately use the irrefutable to commit and seal the wall cling, but unfortunately the face shield still found its way into the equation to stop our throw from getting its damage through, getting our momentum and progressing our game state, and we're forced into a build turn now.
How many attacks is Kyle running? Because at this point, there's another one. There's another tape. He might actually be checking all the tape swings.
He is checking all the tape swings right now, yeah.
For all the Mineta fans out there, all one of you, hi Guile. It's gotta be so tough.
Yeah, and in the checks on the following build not being too great either. We're going into Keenan's turn with just 5 cards here. If Keenan finds a single stun move, this could be so bad for Kyle.
Yeah, it's so weird because like his positioning looks so strong until Asui starts attacking, and then all of a sudden it's like you snap back to reality, and it's like, wait a second, this is still Asui.
Absolutely,
this is still the menace.
Yeah, if this character drew 7 attacks, they are playing 7 attacks.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and actually count how many attacks Keenan Meadows played on that kill turn from the first game, because it was way more than anyone has the right to with the double card pull stuff.
I think it was 6, either 6 or 7, because we had like a few tongue smacks.
We had a crow and frog.
We had a crow and frog. We had an ice wall.
We had a tongue whip that got reduced.
Yeah. I think it was 6.
Yeah.
I believe it was 6. Yeah, because it was crow and frog. It was like crow and frog, ice wall, tongue whip, tongue smack.
Yeah,
Ice Storm.
We can't keep track of it as a third party. Imagine how Kyle feels having to sit through that hailstorm.
Yeah, just watching Asui just pick up her cards over and over again. So the freezer burn is going to be a really, really punishing move here. And really, really hard to interact with.
Keenan Meadows ordering that discard pile so a ranged attack is on top.
Yep.
Pretty big there because we never get to sticky balls. But it's not going to matter because we're just going to run a sticky balls out of our own and prepare to play defense for yet another turn.
Yeah, not a bad position for Keenan to be in. He's going to be able to set up his stage really well here. He got all his card draw out the way.
So if Kyle draws tape swing,
it could get ugly.
We can end the game, right?
Can we?
I guess you could still partial and take half and live at 5. Because I was thinking we have the 2 momentum. We can make tape swing 10 damage and a mid, and we can seal the wall cling. Do we have 2 wall clings for Keenan yet? No, he hasn't found the second one, right?
Just the first one.
Yeah, so if we don't...
There's the swing.
So this could be very troublesome. Do we know how many cards are in Keenan's hand? He hasn't put it on the table yet.
It can't be too many, right? We played 1 attack and then we built 4 foundations.
Yeah.
So, and then we drew 1 off of 1 exhausted, so he should have 3 in hand, if I'm keeping track of things correctly.
Snipes the wall cling, doesn't forget it, right? Easy mistake to make. I've seen it from more than one.
Oh, yeah.
Established player here. So not making any mistakes down the line is going to be super important, especially when you're down a game. However, it looks like Keenan Did he commit for? I'm trying to figure out why he. It looks like he committed a frozen.
It did look like he committed a frozen.
Yeah. Oh, do you have a rescue completed? I can't see.
We do not have a rescue completed. I'm not sure why he committed that frozen.
Interesting. Yeah, it's Well, anyway, this is up to 9 damage. It's getting pretty close to lethal. We can, of course, spend any momentum to make it so. To make it truly lethal, though, it would have to be 19 damage because you can still partial this. But coming down to like the cards that Keenan has in his hand, right? It's sometimes you can just pick the right zone, right? You can just pick the zone they have in their hand only.
I think we're probably gonna see Kyle build after this,
Yeah.
be happy with the 5 damage he dealt, got a momentum, and then now he just has to hope that the 3 momentum he has now, 3 I think, is enough to save him through whatever kind of crazy Asui turn. And I mean, we've seen Asui do some crazy stuff, but 23 through this defensive setup sounds very, very, very difficult.
You know, I felt that way in game 1, though, partner.
That's very true, man. That's so true, my friend.
I wholeheartedly thought Kyle was going to pull that one out, right? I thought he was just going to command the game, and I thought no matter how many turns Keenan has, he would have to chip and chip and chip away through all the zone change, the perfect block, the recycling. But the power of Asui is that whatever you think you have defensively, she just has more than you.
Yeah. I mean, again, kind of has a Tokugami syndrome where the ceiling of the character is kind of non-existent. It's really just a matter of how many attacks do we draw. And we definitely just ripped a lot of attacks off of the cycle there. So probably a big breath of relief coming out of Kyle. I think seeing that feels very, very good to know that there's, 5, 6 less attacks in Keenan's deck now. And
I want to say we've seen all 4 tape swings. I want to say we checked 3 and we played the 4th.
I think you're correct, Sam. I do believe you're correct there.
It certainly feels like we've checked 3 before this. So if Keenan's keeping track of that, he might recognize that Faith Shields are live again until Sports Festival comes out.
Yeah.
And he might be able to actually slow it down a bit until Mineta cycles. Because if we slow things down, we don't make him check to block and draw cards with the momentum, it's longer, it's more time you get to sculpt before he has access to tape swing again.
Yeah, this is true. It's just a matter of like how many wall clings can we find, right?
And it's a matter of how brave are you that you can survive through all the other attacks.
Yeah.
Because it's looking like Keenan doesn't have access to multiple wall clings. You know, I would assume, right, that they come in after sideboarding with the face shields. You would max out as much as you can in this matchup.
Right.
But we haven't seen a second wall cling yet. So that one irrefutable might just be locking down that wall cling for the rest of time.
So we did see the checking a foundation there on this Crow and Frog, right? So our sticky balls is very online right now. We are very much able to flip sticky balls and put that exhausted in, and it's not a card that Keenan can't kick out of his card pool. And again, I think having 2 cards permanently stuck there for Keenan is going to be really, really, really big. I think they might be confused on what that exhausted exclamation is. It looks like he think that might be a foundation in his stage, but that is his discard pile. That is
so
the card that
he checked 1 card after cycling.
Yes,
and
it is that card.
The one,
because he hard checked a 5.
And the ice gliding was added from the Mineta once per turn, or from the sticky balls?
From Mineta. Okay. That was built in from Mineta, I think.
I wouldn't see a reason to add a face up into his card pool.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's in his stage. I'm like 90% sure, but it can get kind of confusing because we're paying attention to everything, right?
Yeah,
we're
a lot of things
trying
on
to
the board
look
right
at
now.
Mineta's foundations. We're trying to keep track of cards in hand. So yeah, it's hard to believe that if Sticky Balls was the first enhanced played, that
there's no reason that Keenan would have put an ice gliding in over like one of his face downs, right? That doesn't really make any sense. So that's got to be one just chilling in his stage. He has 1, 2, 3. I remember him having 2 exhausteds. I don't know. It's possible we're wrong here. That might be his discard pile.
It looks like it's going back into his discard pile now.
Yeah.
So
that's what I was thinking. I just feel like I was starting to gaslight myself into thinking otherwise. But I do remember him only having 2 exhausteds. So super possible that is the correct line of thought there. Looks like they might be able to.
Oh, he does have a second one. I was just about to say, well, he had 2 before, but now I've seen the next. So it's there's so much happening. It's man, this board state is an absolute nightmare for both players. There's so many
it's terrifying. It's terrifying.
you have to keep track of, because eventually, once Keenan gets the real gas, right? Once Keenan has an open pathway, all the sticky balls are gone, the card pull clogging is at the least you'd have to fight through. Frozen is on board. Frozen's going to help.
Two Frozen are on board.
Frozen's going to help us stay out of deadlock if we absolutely need to. But most importantly, when we're going for game, we're just sacking all of our committed foundations to tap Mineta out.
Yeah, I think if there's any line where Keenan finds game this turn, it's because we have two Frozens on the board.
Especially if Mineta can't check a 2 to block again.
Yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. I mean, again, like we said, the face shield draw is kind of massive.
Super big that we discarded the tape swing from momentum too.
Yep, we get to put it back in our deck now.
Yep, because once we cycle, it's going to be the one that comes back.
Yep, once we cycle, it is a game of how soon can we draw a tape swing? Because the second we do, Keenan's dead. And I think Keenan probably understands that, and we might see him do some crazy things to try and find a lethal line this turn.
He had to do crazy things to find lethal last time, and...
Yep, Keenan might have to understand here that he's on the clock, right?
Yeah.
He's on the clock. Keenan understanding the assignment and saying, yeah, man, let's just use my sticky balls right now and just jam it. But there's that cheerful uppercut block.
Which you had to feel was coming from the tape.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. This puts Keenan in a very precarious position. We have 1 million foundations, man, but 3 in our pool is a lot. It's really going to come down to these checks here, man.
Asui doesn't like progressive difficulty.
No,
giving that progressive back to her upsets her.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we've still got what, 2 momentums left, 2 Mineta usages left. So like essentially 3 attacks right here getting blocked for free in totality.
And one of them's a Faith Shield, so we're pretty much safe from the biggest threats possible.
Yeah. If we face shield block this, Keenan's turn is just over, right?
Yeah, you won't even get to clear the tongue smack.
Yeah, like it's just straight up over. This is the defensive power, man, of Mineta. The defensive controlling power, right? This card pool stuffing is one crazy mechanic, man. When it starts to stack up, it gets so out of hand so fast.
Yeah, and card pool stuffing is strong on its own, but the water symbol, more than any other symbol, synergizes with it in other ways to just creepy realization, sense it over the top, right?
Yeah. So that's basically what we saw, right? Keenan's turn, as we said, was just over. The Great Brush is big. We still only have 1 wall cling. Oh, man.
I think he might actually have enough attacks to hand tax Keenan.
Show me the Faith Shield.
I think he might actually have more attacks than Keenan has blocks.
He might. Point. I mean, Keenan's going to get to draw a card.
Oh, he doesn't get to draw. Never mind. He gets to draw. He actually gets to draw.
We also have Struggling with Studies on board. So
we actually do get... So
we're picking our blocks back up as well the second Kyle finds his 3rd move.
Yeah, so now it's really going to be a block zone lottery amidst.
Yeah, we've got an invisible infiltration as well, which is going to let us reset a sticky balls if we so desire.
Yeah, anything we want. Like we might want to get that. If we don't win this turn somehow, we might want to get that irrefutable back, right? To seal prone to dry eyes or exhausted on defense.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, right now it looks like Kyle has the gas to actually close this off right here. It's just going to come down to how the blocking power plays out, right?
Yeah. Man, there's so many things that can go wrong here, and there's so many things that can go right for both players. I really want to see this game continue, but I think Kyle smells blood in the water. Might not be this turn.
Oh, but Kyle is smelling it right now. There is a very, very high chance that I think Kyle is able to close this thing out right here and potentially take it to a Game 3 scenario. Keenan's block power is strong. We are the water symbol. We do have things like Struggling with Studies, but if we just fall prey to the throws, we fall prey to the throws. And I mean the card pull stuffing, right? But like we are prophesizing a lot of speed on a lot of these moves, essentially, with these cards all in the card pool. Ooh, face shield block, huge, massive face shield block right there. Hardcore needed that. Invisible infiltration going to come in now.
Oh, there was another one.
Oh, the 2-check not looking so pretty, but we can reset our sticky balls now. Play another move, sticky balls on it.
That one has to be the 4th, though.
It's got to be.
For real, right?
It's got to be. There's no way.
He's got like 2 cards left. I can't be wrong on this one.
Plot twist, Kyle's got like 6 tape swings in his deck.
What a way to go out.
What a way to go. Listen, man, the feast or famine, okay? The feast or famine. It's never ending. So the invisible infiltration gonna play huge here with resetting. I have to imagine we're resetting to the sticky balls here, and it's gonna come back at the end of the battle. So we're gonna get to essentially ready one foundation, right? On top of readying one foundation, we're gonna have to put another card in his card pool. So we block this move, we play another move, we bring the sticky balls back in. We're looking at like 3 cards in our card pool. So things are gonna be pretty tough to block, but we do still have a lot of ready foundations.
Actually, did he check the 2 or did he discard it from his momentum to draw another card? He might have actually just discarded it because it doesn't look like we tapped 3 foundations to play this.
Yeah.
Oh, but we did remove one, so.
I think we committed 3 things and then reset the committed sticky balls and then frozen.
Yeah, okay.
I think we frozen.
That's right.
And that's where all of our committed foundations went. Yeah.
Yeah. Which frozen is a telegraph that we're swinging for game here.
Oh yeah. I mean, with the tongue whip now, this is gonna be really, yeah. I mean, there's the sticky balls coming in. We're able to kick our tongue whip block out the pool though, so it's gonna make it a little bit better there. There's
still lethal on a partial.
Yeah, there's the tongue whip stuff coming in. We are on our 3rd attack, so Struggling with Studies is live.
Oh, we could have struggled to pick up the low, but that would mean we have another low, right?
Yeah. It might say, hey, I already have the low block, right?
Yeah.
Or that could be a massive oversight on Keenan's end.
Yeah, I want to talk really quick about some, though. We are running low on time. The players only have a few minutes left. Keenan's up a game. He might recognize that he only has to survive another turn or 2, and even if he doesn't kill Kyle, going second, he could play a long string of Asui attacks, and Kyle could just run out of time. His window might close within that 1 life.
Yeah, no, the pressure is definitely on Kyle, and man, feels very, very bad to leave Keenan at 1 there. Super duper unfortunate not being able to fully close out the game.
Yeah, there's a very real chance that Keenan Meadows wins this 1-0 just off of an offensive turn that produces essentially nothing.
Yeah, no, it's super duper possible, but we're definitely going to try. The Crow and Frog is going to come down, and we are going to try our darndest to finish Kyle off here to get that actual clean 2-0 victory.
Yeah, Crow and Frog, for those who have somehow been sleeping under a rock, or maybe it's your first time watching, Crow and Frog has 2 enhances on it. One of them is specific to Asui and Tokoyami. You get to ready one foundation that hasn't been readied yet. Simple enough, incredibly powerful.
Absolutely.
However, the generic effect that every deck can use is that you can enhance and have it not count towards progressive, which we talked about earlier, allows Asui to play on normal progressive, even through the card pool clogging.
Yeah, I mean, that is the iconic part of the card, right? Everyone knows Crow and Frog for that, but it's definitely got a lot of cool tricks otherwise. The readying one foundation is actually readying any card in your staging area.
True.
Even letting you bring your characters back up. Obviously very good for characters like Tokoyami and Asui who commit themselves all day, every day.
That actually does remind me of the time that someone raided a sports festival stadium against me, and I nearly lost my mind.
Wow, that's very disrespectful.
Yeah, I had
that's
2
very
face
disrespectful
shields.
of them. Yeah,
I had 2 face shield, and you're right. You can ready any card with it that hasn't been ready
yet.
You
Totally can. Yeah.
Yep. So here comes the second attack. It's a giant ice wall and a 6. We do have the momentum to spend.
Yeah, the stun here is going to be massive. The stun here might be what lets him clean Kyle's clock out here.
Yeah, it would be amazing to see Keenan actually just run down the 23 health against Mineta, who's sitting on multiple. Well, now it's only 1 momentum, but
yeah, it's super possible. We have what? We have 2 prone to dry eyes usages online already. Potentially more in the future. We have a frozen as well.
We only have 1 more Asui activation though, because we'd have to flip that prone to dry.
This is very true. This is very true. Well, if we're okay getting rid of our frozen, we can flip that as well.
Right.
But at the same time, yeah, I mean the resources are running out. But I mean, if we can get to a point where we just fully commit Kyle's board, it might not matter.
Yeah. Is this another Ice Storm angle? Because we're not spending the momentum. Although I guess we already had the stun 2 on this one. I just really wanted to stun out that struggling, but you're not going to get to...
it would have been nice for sure, but perhaps we've got an Ice Storm in our hand that we're saving all that momentum for.
And you wouldn't get the sequencing anyway because you'd have to stun 2 independently, so...
Exactly.
He was always going to get to use it.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. You've got to discard and then give it, right? Yeah, so... Kyle here going to be failing that block just to get the card out of his hand by the looks of it. Now sitting at a 9 life total. Not impossible for Asui to do here. We have the prone to dry eyes popping off, right?
Why does Kyle's board look so good, and then 2 attacks into Asui's turn, he's getting destroyed?
I mean, that's stun against the water symbol, right?
Can someone explain this to me? How is Asui doing this?
We said it once before. We'll say it again, man. The stunning out is so potent against the water symbol. It's just so strong. Being able to just effectively negate so much of their powerful speed reduction here.
And now, not only is Mineta going to get this card put into the card pool, he's not okay. There's 1 removed, but now we have a chance to check a 2 again.
It's true. It's very true. Yeah. I mean, we've got 1 momentum chilling left. If we can find the perfect zone, we still can potentially stop 1 more attack. I mean, if there's 1 to stop, it has to be this tongue whip, right? This one is like it's what, 7 damage right now with the 2 prones and the 1 damage from the card pool.
Yep. It's going to be 6 speed low, 7 with the card in the card pool, pretty much unblockable.
Yeah, it looks like we're probably just opting to take this as Kyle since we're not spending our momentum. Because I mean, if we spend the momentum and don't draw into that low block, we made it 0 for nothing, and now anything stops us because we've lost our ammunition there.
Yeah. It's there it goes.
There it goes. Okay.
What did we draw?
Oh, okay.
That is okay.
It's going to be on a 3-4. We cannot fail this unless we check a 2. Oh, that would have been terrifying. Oh, my goodness. I thought he did
for a second when you said it.
And then there's the tongue smack. It's going to be 8 damage. We use our we use prone to dry eyes for a 3rd time. We'll make it 9 damage.
Is that the last card in his hand?
Yeah, that's the 3rd prone, making it exactly 9 damage. Kyle's every single resource. My goodness, man.
He can't keep getting away with it.
Oh, man. Who said Asui was done? Who said Asui was done?
I did multiple times.
This deck is back. This deck is back with an absolute vengeance, man. The Frog is back to play 8 million attacks. Prone to dry eyes, man. I mean, that was the real kicker there, right? Was prone to dry eyes.
Yes.
The ability to play so many attacks on, I mean, I say so little foundations. 10 foundations is not a lot of foundations to play 8 attacks on, and there's the damage racking and racking and racking with the prone to dry eyes. It's crazy.
Through the card pool stuffing, through the damage reduction, through the fire and the flames, Keenan Meadows sticks with it. 1 life? The one life power up. It's the 1 life power up.
1 life ain't 0. Life ain't 0.
Really quick, everybody. That round did go to time, though, so we are going to take a very fast break, get the next round set up for you, and we're going to be jumping right into it for our 8th round of the Pro Hero National. Stick around. Hey there, everyone. We've got your winner from the last round, Keenan Meadows here. Keenan, take me through it for either game, really, because I'm not going to lie. I was sitting here on commentary. I said, Kyle's in the driver's seat.
Yes.
He's got the cards. He's got the board presence. And then I sneezed and looked up, and you were killing this man.
Yeah, game 1 was like a boulder rolling downhill at my face that at the very last second, gravity just stopped working, and it froze, and I was able to just somehow build back up and swing in. It was absolutely insane. Like, I've never felt like I had such a... It felt like a luck sack, honestly. He needed 1 throw at any point, and I was like, I'm at 4. I think there was a sports festival down game 1. I'm just gonna die, and he just couldn't find it, and it was somehow this serendipitous crawl back. And that same thing happened in game 2. Like, I was at 4. I actually had my life at 5. And so I had to reconcile that, and somehow, I don't know how it all came out in the wash, but I ended up not dying to a half block, which was like, I actually had a low block in my hand for it, but because the math worked out the way that it did on the dice, I was like, okay, that's fine. So yeah, that was a wild ride. Genuinely, our brains were so shattered by the end of that. There was one point where we were staring at an exhausted exclamation on my discard pile, like, what is this card? How did it get here? And I had made the check for it like an enhance or 2 ago.
Right.
And yet, neither of us could tell you where that card came from.
I 100% thought it was in your stage as well because of exactly what you're talking about. Like, we're trying to track it down. So run me through it. Card pool clogging versus Asui.
Yes.
Does it slow you down? Do you hate
Absolutely.
it? Can you roll with it?
So it's honestly, like, Kyle had some really bad beats. We saw it in the match. You can go back, you can watch it. It was not great for him, but we were fortunate enough to we were fortunate enough to get there. I think in another game state, I would be lost. So it was really just, there was some serendipity, some light shone down upon me and gave me the win.
Well, Keenan, in 2011, you said there's nothing but a bright future for this game.
I did.
And we're going to great places. Have we arrived there, or?
This is pretty freaking sweet, I'm not going to lie. 310 people for a Universes major. I never thought I would see it in my life. The game is still amazing. It's thriving. I mean, there's always things you could say about the metagame, but the community never changes. They hold this up. Sam, I so appreciate all the content work that you do for the community. You, Tam, Levi, everybody who's like really getting in there and giving it their all. It's amazing to see. It's beautiful, and I've been so blessed to be able to watch the game grow up from that and just get to be a player and see it throughout its many stages.
Well, it's beautiful to watch your tenacious plays. Congratulations once again on your win, my man. Good luck with the rest of the tournament, and we're going to take a very quick break, and we're going to be back for round 8 of the first ever Pro Hero National right here in Dallas, Texas. Don't go anywhere.